I want to state at the outset of this video that we here at the MeidasTouch Network unequivocally condemn all forms of political violence in this country and abroad. It has no place in our political system, no place in the world. What took place in Butler, Pennsylvania is not a laughing matter, deserves to be taken incredibly serious, despite the fact that I think that Donald Trump is an existential threat to this country. What took place there should never, ever occur in our system, period, full stop. I'm not going to stop, though, our data-driven coverage here and call out what actually transpired. I'm not going to ignore the data. Some of these historically awful takes by corporate media always want to cast things of, why is this great for Donald Trump and MAGA, and why is this bad for President Biden? Just report the facts. Just report the facts and stop those narratives. Here are the facts. The FBI officially identified Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20 years old, of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, as the shooter. Thomas Matthew Crooks was wearing that Second Amendment paraphernalia. He's a registered Republican, white male. So all the MAGA Republicans afterwards who were trying to blame this on like DEI, like Tomi Lahren, things that she was saying afterwards and others like that, she goes, I'm just throwing this out there. How about after a shooting, you don't just throw something out there? Tomi Lahren, right-wing media personality, goes, I'm just throwing this out there, but maybe the former president should have all former military men and preferably special operators protecting him instead of DEI hires. Just spitballing here. That's your take. Now, she's a far right-wing propagandist, but just take a look at some of the takes. This is a take from Forbes. These are historically bad corporate media takes right here. Forbes writes, will surviving gunfire be Donald Trump's next appeal to black voters? That's an actual article from Forbes right there. Will surviving gunfire be Donald Trump's next appeal to black voters? What a horrific headline. Why would that? What are you even talking about? Or how about this from The Spectator, from Kate Andrews? She goes, today we are all MAGA. Newsflash, no, we're not. We're not all MAGA. This incident doesn't bring solidarity with a MAGA movement in any way, a movement that has based on inciting political violence. It's not just me criticizing. I'll show clips of that in just a moment. But no, the take isn't today we are all MAGA. The take is simple. Condemn political violence in all of its forms. Call out the behavior in the strongest possible terms, what transpired in Butler, Pennsylvania. The fact that that shooter was brought to justice and the Secret Service act bravely and showed a great degree of heroism in the moment. But I don't need takes today we're all MAGA. What are you even talking about? And then even before the shooting took place, this was the headline earlier in the day that Brian Stelter pushed. This was before the shooting took place. And I had a comment on this because everything, quite literally everything, the corporate media casts as a pro-Trump narrative, strong, strength, macho, and why this is going to be hurting President Biden. It's ridiculous. Just focus on the facts here. This is Brian Stelter's post. Rarely has a presidential election been so defined by the gender gap and masculine versus feminine framing. It's Donald Trump's chest-beating macho appeals versus Joe Biden's softer, reproductive rights-dominated, all-gender inclusivity. Excuse me, calling Donald Trump's behavior macho. This is someone who's been found liable for sexual assault, who's in the Epstein files, who's on video bragging about sexually assaulting women. He says that when you're rich and famous, they let you do it and you can get away with it. Donald Trump's on audio bragging that he would go into his beauty pageants and without consent inspect naked girls. Donald Trump's on audio tape talking about how he thinks about, or what he has in common with Ivanka is sex. Talking about a convicted felon, someone who's bankrupted his companies. That's not what are those qualities macho? And why is it not, it's not macho standing up for people? It's all of a sudden macho when Donald Trump mocks people who are disabled, mocking the disabled, mocking veterans and calling them suckers and losers. But it's not macho to focus on protecting women's freedoms and focusing on gender inclusivity. I mean, it's just a ridiculous headline. And this is the type of things that they push. I want to show you this, though. I know the media is going to, push their own narratives, but just take a look at what happened here. So after the shooting takes place, while the Secret Service is there, what was Donald Trump's first response? What was his first reaction to the crowd? He goes, fight, fight. And then he makes a hand gesture. And you could look for yourself what he did. Let me just show it to you. Here, play this clip. He tells the Secret Service to wait as they're trying to protect his life. He has them wait there, he says, so he can make his gesture to the crowd. Here, play this clip.
Wait.
Look, as Congressmember Eric Swalwell said, and I think this is how it should be framed, I don't know why a Republican would try and kill his party's own nominee with an assault rifle. The shooter was a white Republican man, 20 years old. But it's wrong. Violence has never been the answer. Violence is not the answer. Violence will not be the answer. Of course, you have all the MAGA Republican takes right away, like MAGA Republican Congressman Mike Collins, who says Joe Biden sent the orders. The Republican district attorney in Butler County should immediately file charges against Joseph R. Biden for inciting an assassination. That's an actual member of Congress. Or J.D. Vance, actual member of Senate, MAGA Republican, goes, today is not just some isolated incident. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs. That rhetoric led directly to Trump's attempted assassination. No, it didn't. It absolutely didn't. You're a liar. And Donald Trump goes out there and talks about being a dictator. That's why it's being criticized, because Trump's out there saying that he wants to be a dictator for a day or day one. Here, Donald Trump, we're not supposed to criticize this. In American politics, we're now supposed to normalize it. And because of this incident, we're supposed to act like the person doesn't want to be a dictator. What are we talking about, folks? What are we talking about here? Here's Donald Trump saying that he wants to be a dictator on day one or for one day. Here, play this clip.
We love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one.
Here's Donald Trump at a speech reiterating that that's what he wants. He says he wants to be a dictator. He says, for one day, I'll be a dictator. I've never heard anybody in the history of America running on the platform of dictatorship. I'm not supposed to call that out. We're not supposed to do anything. No, they want us to just go away. They want to use anything to make us afraid to just call out what's happening before our eyes. And I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. I'm going to keep reporting here on the Meidas. Nothing's going to change. I'm going to keep reporting the facts. That's what's not going to change. Facts and data. Like here, play this clip of Trump.
When Sean Hannity the other night, I did a town hall. He's a good guy, too. He is a good guy. But he said, okay, because he wanted to, you're not going to be a dictator. Is that, you're not? I said, no, Sean, I'm going to be a dictator. I said that. Right. You guys know it better than I do. I'm going to be a dictator for one day. And we're going to build the wall. We're going to complete the wall because we built it, but we're going to clean up that hole. We're going to stop and we're going to finish. He could have finished it in 2 weeks. You know, we built over 500 miles of wall. Could have finished it in 2 weeks. That's when I realized where I was going. But I said, Sean, I'm going to be a dictator for one day. We're going to do the wall and we're going to become energy independent. We're going to drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. And then I said, right, because he's right there. He's on the ball, this guy. Well, he's a caucus captain. I want one of those hats, too. I like that hat more than... That is a great hat. I'm going to be... look, I'm doing caucus. I don't know if I'm a captain. I think that... No, I think I'll just be one of the regular folks back there. The captains are big shots with those hats. Those hats are beautiful, white and gold. But I also said to him, right, and then I'm not going to be a dictator. And one day, I said, one day, we're going to stop the invasion of our country, number one, and we're going to become energy independent. We're going to drill, baby, drill. And then I said, and then I'm not going to be a dictator any longer. So the fake news said, I'm going to be a dictator. In other words, that's where they cut it. I said I'm going to be a dictator for one day, right? They said, I'm going to be a dictator. They cut the one day out. They cut everything out. And the headline was, Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. We've known it for years, but he's admitted it.
Oh, here's what Politico wrote. Give you another historical bad take. Politico, as my brother Brett writes, registered Republican shoots Republican presidential candidate. Politico's headline is, will this hasten calls from Democrats for Biden to drop out of the race? What's less clear is whether the shooting hastens the Democratic calls for Biden to withdraw from the race. Most elected Democrats responded to the shooting by denouncing political violence, and a few wanted to discuss how it may echo in the campaign. What are you even talking about, Politico? I'm telling you, they've all lost their damn minds in the corporate media. They don't know how to think straight. They don't know how to report basic facts. Donald Trump going to a high school talking about golden showers. That's one of the things that he does at his campaign events. Here, play this clip.
He was with 4 hookers. You think that was good that night to go up and tell my wife, it's not true, darling, I love you very much? It's not true. Actually, that one she didn't believe because she said he's a germaphobe. He's not into that, you know? He's not into golden showers, as they say they call it. He's not. I don't like that idea. No, I didn't. I thought that would be a big problem. I was going to have a rough night, but that one she was very good on. She said, no.
Donald Trump going to churches and leading curse word chants in churches with children. Here, play the clip.
So they come up with something that's fake, just like everything else they do. It's all fake. The impeachments are fake. The court cases are a disgrace to our country. Everything is fake. So they come up with this order. I won't say it because I don't like using the word bullshit in front of these beautiful children. So I won't say it. I will not say it. But this thing allows millions of people.
And I guess to the media, that's macho. I guess to corporate media, they're upset that we at the MeidasTouch Network call out this behavior, that we call out who the shooter was, that we push back against these completely deranged and unhinged narratives. I mean, by the way, you want to take a look at, despite all the media tsunami that they've been doing over the past week, this is the NBC poll that dropped. I know this is not the way the media wants the poll to be, and I'm not a fan of polls, but the new NBC poll showed President Biden leading by 3 points in a three-way race after all they've been pushing over and over and over again on the American people. You know why? Because I think American people see, these Christmas cards by these MAGA Republicans with the guns and the AR-15 pins, and it's, the shooter was a Republican. But you want to know my view on the Second Amendment? I believe in responsible gun ownership, period, full stop. That's it. I'm not anti-Second Amendment. All the responsible gun owners I speak to believe that there should be responsible gun ownership, and that this kind of fetishization of like real gun owners I know are like, what is they think this fetishization with all of the stuff is like bizarre, and that's not part of being a responsible gun owner. With the pins that they pass out in Congress, the MAGA Republicans, look, we're going to just provide fact-based coverage here of the MeidasTouch Network, what's going on. And the bottom line is, if they get upset and go, oh, well, why are you comparing Donald Trump's quotes to Hitler? But because look at him. Look at the quotes. That's why. It's not making a random comparison. It's because Hitler said, I will get rid of the communists and vermin, and Trump says, I will get rid of the communists and vermin. It's because Hitler says, I will take care of the enemy within, and Trump says, I will take care of the threat from within. It's because Hitler said the Jews and migrants are poisoning the Aryan blood, and Trump says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. It's because Hitler says one people, one realm, one leader, and Trump says one people, one family, one glorious nation. That's not normal phrasing of words. It's like, oh, you just cherry picked. And by the way, I'll show you the videos each and every time. Like, here's Donald Trump saying that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the nation. Here, play this clip.
Country, when they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking at them. They just come in. The crime is going to be tremendous. The terrorism is going to be, and then we built a tremendous piece of the wall.
So we're not going anywhere, folks, on the MeidasTouch Network, okay? This is data, fact-based reporting, period, full stop. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.